Hello, Nico. Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely fantastic today. Thanks, Christina. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great as well. Excited to be with our first podcast today. Welcome to the Agent Workforce, the podcast where we'll explore the world of enterprise AI agents and their role in transforming business automation. I'm Kristiina, leading marketing at Digital Workforce, and I'm joined by Niko Lehtonen.
Hey, and in this very first episode, we'll be breaking down what enterprise AI agents are, why they matter, and how they're reshaping industries. And whether you're a business leader, automation professional, or anyone just curious about enterprise-grade AI agents, this podcast is for you.
We're excited to bring you insights from industry experts, practical strategies, and real-world case studies in our upcoming episodes. And a quick heads up, every major company will be piloting AI agents this year, and first movers have already started. So if you're wondering how to stay ahead of the curve, you're in the right place. So I think, Nico, let's start by introducing ourselves and who we are as persons, as a company, to talk about this topic in general. So I can go first. So I said I'm leading marketing at Digital Workforce. I've been in this role since the company was founded in 2015. And I'm also very enthusiastic about AI in my own work and been using extensively different Gen AI tools over the past few years. And obviously, really excited to see what AI agents will bring into marketing as a function, but all companies in general. So that's maybe in essence about me.
Yeah, and myself, Niko Lehtonen, as mentioned, I've been in the process automation space for about 10 years now. Started delving into AI stuff at around 2019, and like you, for the past couple of years, been involved in various LLM powered forays and used a lot of tools. I think I've used like 10 or 20 different ones by now, just for personal productivity and playing around quite a bit. It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
absolutely. Maybe let's introduce Digital Workforce as a company as well, because we might have some listeners that are not familiar who we are. Do you want to go and say a few words who we are as a company?
Yeah, sure. I think it's very good. Yeah, like I said, I've been in the automation space for 10 years, and so has the company. So it was founded in 2015. Back then, RPA was still very new. There weren't that many companies who were just purely focusing on process automation. So the demand was there. In about 2018, the company started incorporating AI, of course, machine learning, into the solutions. And ever since, it's just been an increasing application of AI components into various automation business processes across various industries. And as a company, the first automation that had an LLM in it was built in 2023. So it's got its 2 year anniversary very soon. Nowadays, also, we're publicly listed offices in multiple countries around the world, like UK, the US, Finland, Sweden, and many others.
Thanks, Nico. And the company name Digital Workforce, and one of the key terms that actually Digital Workforce has started using in 2015 was a term called digital workers. And digital worker, as said, was launched by Digital Workforce as a term, and now it's becoming extremely popular across different forums online. For instance, at CES event, the most recent CES event, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, was discussing how digital workers and AI agents in the context of how AI is transforming work, and how NVIDIA is developing all kinds of digital workers and AI agents. And as this is not a new concept to us, we've been talking about digital workers for, almost 10 years now. So, but how are these different now, these digital workers of today compared to digital workers that we've had in the past?
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, a digital worker referred to robotic process automation. So it's rules based. There's automation solutions that are able to utilize user interfaces of business applications to perform often repeating tasks, just like a human would. In there, the point was indeed the repeatability and that it can be broken down to simple rules, yes, no type of things. And And the digital worker was guided with workflows and long true, false, and if else type of structures. And this, I sort of feel like it's a second coming. It's called digital worker 2.0. It is different in some ways. So instead of being rules based, it's now goals based. So what happens in the middle is not that much described. What matters is where you need to get to. And instead of being instructed with long workflows and these endless if else and so on statements, these solutions are powered by large language models, and you instruct them with natural language. You can provide examples of what kinds of inputs and outputs there should be, explain the purpose of the business process to give the solution some context because it understands what you're saying. List the actions that are performed in the process by the people that have been working it. And this way, actually, business users can do a large chunk of the development work because they just need to write down their tasks and explain how they would do them, like they would explain it to a new colleague. And in many ways, these digital worker 2.0 solutions, they may still use RPA at places where it makes sense. I mean, the skill sets are quite different, and often they even complement one another. Also, human-in-the-loop structures are needed with both of these. And with the digital worker 2.0, I really want to make that into an official term. The interaction, it's very natural because the solution can contact the user, let them know what's needed, why did they contact the user, and ask the user to help them out to understand what needs to be done next. Maybe it's an ambiguous situation. Maybe human validation is needed and it's in the rules of the business process. But all this is done in natural language. There's no need for programming in that sense anymore.
Yeah, that's quite an evolution we have there. And probably the most used term when we talk about this now is AI agents, and it's been the buzzword definitely for the past 6 months and continues to be so. That's for sure. And it feels like every company is now claiming that they have AI agents.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. To me, it feels like agent history already, but it feels odd that as little as 6 months ago, everyone was still saying, oh yeah, our app has AI now. And now it's changed and it's changing into, oh yeah, our app has agents.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So at the same time, there is no universally agreed definition of AI agents, but we have come across some valuable perspectives recently, which may help you to map what is out there when it comes to AI agents. And next, I want us to talk about the different types of AI agents in the markets today. And one way to look at this is to consider how AI agents are evolving across multiple dimensions, including autonomy levels, functions, industry, or use case applications. So let's kick off with autonomy. So how do you see this dimension in the context of AI agents?
Yeah, I mean, maybe before we get into what autonomy means for agents, we need to go a bit about what's the difference between AI assistants and co-pilots and AI agents, because autonomy plays a big part in what differentiates them. And because on a purely technical level, all these three things, assistants, co-pilots, and agents, they're not that far from one another. But whereas an AI assistant is usually seen as a passive solution that users interact with when needed, the assistant can then respond to user queries and retrieve information from its data set. You can even feed it information in your prompt, provide context files to enhance its capability. Basically, an assistant is a large language model with which a user can discuss with in natural language, like the classic ChatGPT, the one we remember from a couple of years ago. Nowadays, it's already so different. But yeah, so an AI assistant is very passive in terms of its autonomy. An AI co-pilot is then different in a couple of ways, in that it can be more proactive, and it's usually more specialized into a certain type of task, or it's more focused into its use. And basically, it's an upgrade from an AI assistant in that, in addition to being user triggered, it has an event listener that can trigger it. So it can kick off by itself. It's been given a certain role, a certain description. It might have even been fine-tuned to enhance its focus on its field of expertise. Sort of like the GitHub Copilot that's used a lot, including in our company. But then these things become agentic when the autonomy increases even further, along with some other capabilities. So for an AI agent to warrant that term, it must be able to perform actions like call an API to pull information, structure the information, analyze the data it was structuring, and then decide on what to do with it based on its instructions. And it can do this without contacting users at all. So it's just operating between systems. And agents can also work with each other. A very early example of this was the ChatDev research paper that came out in 2023. If anyone's interested in how these things technically function, where it's all started, ChatDev was one of the first ones. That's actually a very cool piece of research. But of course, an AI agent does not have to be so autonomous. It can collaborate with not just human users and other AI agents, but also RPA as well. So it can trigger that if the process so requires. And I mean, all of these have their uses, but it's really been the AI agents that have taken the center stage in the past months, because just being able to automate knowledge work in this way has opened up so many possibilities that have not been there before. And I think thanks to this level of autonomy and the capabilities, the business context understanding, the ceiling of what's possible with AI agents, it is really high. And we're pretty much in the beginning now. So who knows where we'll be in 2027. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And the lines are blurring between these definitions, and what we define as of today might not be true towards the end of the year, taken the rapid development. But where would you place? I mean, I've been playing around with OpenAI's deep research for the past few days, and it is pretty good, I have to say. Not maybe with up-to-date information, but something that has happened in the past. I think it's really, really good. So where would you place that in these definitions?
Yeah, I mean, deep research and ChatGPT in general is a good example of how things are changing, because ChatGPT keeps getting more and more features because OpenAI expands their offering, and everything is put under the ChatGPT umbrella pretty much. Yeah. Basic option is still an AI assistant, but deep research, I would call that an agent. Not because it's very autonomous, because it really isn't, but the reasoning capabilities and the data retrieval abilities, it's going through the internet to find a lot of different research papers, structuring those, compiling those into an article, and that is really impressive. And it's the same for the other types of solutions like Google's Gemini. It's expanded a lot, and it's much more just an LLM that you can chat with or apply in a workflow.
Yeah.
But I mean, what really makes a difference, or how you can really make a difference, is deciding on and knowing what you do with these. So are you just looking for personal productivity tools? I mean, these are great for that, but also you can really start to automate your business processes in a very different way that hasn't been feasible before. And these really open up a lot of opportunities on that side as well.
Absolutely. So in addition to that dimension, I want us to talk about also the domain specificity, which is like, are we talking about domain-specific AI agents, maybe use-case-specific AI agents, or horizontal or general? What are your takes on that?
Yeah, I mean, we're about, let's say, 6 months into AI agents in globally, and there are already so many different ways to categorize these. But I would say that one that's going to stick is horizontal versus vertical. But what I mean by that, or what generally is meant by that, is that a vertical AI agent is a specialized solution for a given industry, maybe even a given business process within that industry. And there are vertical AI agent solutions already out there for a variety of industries like finance and legal. And these solutions often come with pre-built integrations with industry-specific apps. Like there are healthcare AI agents that integrate with Epic because it's one of the biggest patient systems. But then a horizontal AI agent is one with a more general purpose, like Microsoft's Copilot, OpenAI's Assistants API. So they can do a lot of different things, but you need to decide what to do with them. They don't have to stay generalist. They can be used to create a specialist agent solution. And as a rule of thumb, a specialist will always outperform a generalist. You can even try this yourself by giving ChatGPT a role before you ask it a question, and it will give you a much more in-depth answer. That's a very simple example, but it's a good starting point for specialization. And I mean, with this horizontal versus vertical, the main question is, what is your agentic strategy? Do you take just existing solutions from the market, implement them with the providers, and start enjoying the benefits? Do you have a specific business problem that you absolutely need to solve, for which you create the solution either yourself or with a skilled partner? I mean, both are absolutely valid approaches. The former, vertical agents, will allow you to get going with agents much quicker because it's a ready-made solution. But potentially you have to sacrifice a bit of flexibility because the solutions are being scoped to a certain purpose. And you can, or depending on how you look at it, have to then rely on what's available on the market and maybe shop for solutions from multiple providers. And whereas the latter, the horizontal agents, that allows you to look at a business process end to end, tackle as much of it as possible with these solutions, but it will require more effort to get it done because you're starting almost from scratch in that sense. Horizontal agents will also allow you to start implementing your own solutions that are tailored for your business, which of course enables the scaling of your agentic operations better because you can start to really do things from your own perspective as you wish.
Yeah, absolutely. I just came across this Y Combinators, which is probably the world's most famous startup accelerator program in the US. And they are behind startups like Airbnb, Stripe, Reddit. And they just opened their applications for spring 2025 batch. And this time too, AI is front and center of that, what they are calling out for startup ideas, and I'd say maybe 90% or 80% of the ideas there are around AI agents. So there are vertical AI agents, AI personal staff, dev tools for AI agents, and so much more. So I think the message is really, really clear that AI isn't just improving business, it's reshaping it entirely. And we are shifting business models too from this software as a service, typically SaaS, thing into service as software, where AI agents don't do just assist humans, but they might replace entire workflows and even roles. So maybe just a few comments on the ideas that the biggest ideas that I'll pick a few from the Y Combinator. Go and check all the videos. They are pretty cool. But there's one around browser computer automation. AI agents can now browse the web and use desktop apps. That means that any workflow people can do on a computer can be automated. Imagine every website software tool suddenly having an API. That's like 10x the potential use cases for AI agents. A second pick is AI personal staff for everyone. And think about how Uber made personal drivers accessible to everyone, like personal drivers. Imagine who could afford like personal driver in the past, but now with Uber, that's pretty like accessible to a broader market. And AI is about to do the same for personal accountants, trainers, tutors, even doctors. And the goal, to bring like AI-powered personal services to the masses and not just the wealthy people. And that has like immense opportunities obviously dev tools for AI agents, how to build AI agents, the different tools needed there, how to make this all possible. New tools are needed. Platforms that let developers build, scale, refine AI-driven agents. And the future of software engineering, one of the most discussed topics, I would say, that will AI replace software engineers? According to Y Combinator, not quite, but instead, engineers will manage teams of AI agents that handle coding, testing, security, and deployment. So the job shifts from writing software to orchestrating these agents. And honestly, I think that will be the future for us as well. So we will be managing a whole lot of agents in the future. And maybe finally on vertical AI agents, because we discussed that just a moment ago, as I said, the next big wave of AI startups isn't just ChatGPT wrappers, it's the industry-specific AI that will fully automate the job. That sounds pretty scary as well. But I mean, we could have AI accountants, AI medical billers, AI compliance officers. Some of these have been in the previous batches of Y Combinator startup programs previously. But I mean, if you think of that, it's the potential is massive. We're not just talking about like software for accounting, but the total addressable market for accountants. That's like a totally different game. So yeah, let's monitor on these trends, but definitely Y Combinator is a big believer in what's going to happen around AI agents. Yeah. But hey, that's finally something I want us to discuss today is the concept of enterprise AI agents. So now let's focus on that. So when we add enterprise AI agent before AI agents, what do we mean by that? What are enterprise AI agents? Can you break that down for us, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Enterprise AI agents are a more advanced, robust, and secure version of AI agents. They're designed to perform in critical business processes with outstanding accuracy and precision, being as autonomous as possible. And enterprise AI agents is an approach really to how to utilize agentic AI in a business setting, being more resistant to abuse like LLM jailbreaking, understanding the business context in which it's placed extremely well, being very autonomous, like only contacting users when absolutely necessary, for instance, when facing an ambiguous situation or when human validation is required. These are all things that I would, in fact, expect from any vertical agent solution. And if you're in the market for a vertical agent solution right now, you might want to make sure that the robustness and the abuse resilience are there. Because creating these solutions is not a magic trick, but it will require much more planning than just applying an LLM call to an automation workflow. But by this, I don't mean that you need to train your own LLM. It's not that. You can pull this off with just an out-of-the-box LLM. That's not a problem. It's more that you need to be realistic about the scenarios in which the solution can be used, should be used, and should not be used, and what can you do to guarantee that those thoughts are valid and that it's not being abused or it's not doing something that is, how should I put it, suboptimal for your business. And some AI agent platforms actually support this mindset better than others. And actually, Menlo Ventures, a Bay Area venture capital firm, recently explored how AI agents are driving the next wave of enterprise automation. So notice even they're saying enterprise automation. Menlo visualizes that the AI agent market is along two key dimensions: domain specific.
That's a tricky word. I struggle with that as well. I need to practice that if we continue using that.
Yeah, domain specificity and LLM autonomy, which pretty much goes in the area of vertical agents when you think about it. However, according to Venlo, enterprise AI agents are the most horizontal and generalizable types of agents, extensible agent platforms that allow enterprises to build and manage agents across multiple functions and workflows, while still using natural language, standard operating procedures, or rule books, just like you train a new employee. And let's mention there are platforms like this out there that already facilitate this very well.
Yeah. Yeah. And the concept of enterprise AI agents is obviously something we'll be focusing on going forward with our podcast, because that's our background. That's where we come from as a company. That's what we know best. And of course, we need to touch upon these other topics around AI agents as well and LLMs in general, but that will be the focus going forward. And we'll be sharing some use cases and the differences, or to different automation technologies going forward. But I think we can call this a wrap now, Niko, for the first episode of the AI agent workforce. And we hope you now have a clearer picture of AI agents, or at least what are the different dimensions and definitions out there, and what are reactive assistants and fully autonomous agents, which we, to a degree, may not just yet have there, but we're getting there very, very fast, and how all this is transforming really business processes.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for tuning in, and remember to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And thank you, Kristiina, as well. And we'll see you next time, but here on the Agent Workforce.
Thanks so much, Niko. And before you go check out our free course, Understanding Agentic AI. There's a familiar face in that course. And it's at agentacademy.ai. And it's the perfect primer if you want to see how these agents can fit into your organization. And as Niko said, we're happy to see you here. Please join again. And if you do have any questions or topic requests, you can contact us, me or Niko, on LinkedIn, or email us. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, Niko, so much for breaking down for us this time. And thanks all. Have a good day and see you soon.